show you how we got this finish, or brought this big gable down, and I'm going to go through every step of the way over a few videos all about the Scud coat, the foundations of which we're going to do everything else and holds the whole job together. The second video of this rendering series is going to be all about the second coat, the scratch coat. Third video, top coat of sand cement render, will be all about applying the render, ruling it off and getting it straight, ready to be rubbed up and finished. Last but not least on this series is going to be about applying and finishing the acrylic render, just as shown here.
Next, subscribe, back plastering.
Scratch coat today. Had this all Scud coated probably about 42 hours ago, so 2 days ago, and anything that was wobbly, there's a couple of wee bricks that were a wee bit sus. It's all solid now. Just going to get the scratch coat on and let you see that and how we get on.
So, tools on the walls, guys. That's where you're going to actually earn the money, or if you're doing it yourself, save the money. So yeah, I always start top to bottom, and that goes for nearly all walls, inside or outside. Same as I've had to skim the ceilings. I start top to bottom, do the ceilings first, then do the walls. Yes, sometimes it's handy just to do a couple of walls if you haven't got time to do the ceilings, or you need to put trestles or something. But back to the video right here. So just coating on my scratch coat, and you're probably wondering what's the mix. It's probably the main thing. One of the main reasons you want to watch these videos is to learn the mixes and why I'm using that certain mix. So basically the Scud coat mix, that was on the previous video, and this mix here is 3-to-1. That's 3 plastering sand and 1 cement, and that's mixed with water in a mixer. And in the water we add motor mix and we add waterproofer as well. There might also be a splash of SPR in this coat just to try and make it that wee bit stronger as well, and also better for the next coat, and it's going to help make it stick to the wall better, make it a better sort of adhere to the wall basically. It can be a bit sticky if you go too much with the SPR, but like I said in previous videos, a little goes a long way as well. And again, there's SPR in the Scud coat, so everything's going to be well bonded to the brick. And I'll go through something with you in another wee clip later, just sort of how to address certain cracks and gaps. If you're worried about any crack areas or anything, there's some things you can do to sort of help prevent that, and I'll go through that on another wee tip here shortly. But yeah, again, the scratch coat here, you're not trying to go all awfully heavy with it, but you are trying to build out any voids, and you're trying to make it tidy, as this is the coat you're going to be finishing on top of, and you don't want it too lumpy bumpy, and you want it sort of somewhat smooth and flat. You can put a speed skim over this coat or a spatula, or you can even straight edge it, but it's not greatly necessary if you're gonna, well, depending on the finish. If you're gonna float it, this one's all gonna get floated and then acrylic rendered over the top, or silicone thin coat render, whatever way you want to sort of call it. There is a couple of different types, but yeah, then once you get it all flat and straight and you're happy with that, it's time to scratch it up here. And that's the scarifier that I prefer, the scratcher. I find that the best one. I know some people do disagree, but that's okay. I'm going to get my bead on here shortly, but it's okay. Whatever you find works for yourselves, guys, it's a must do, and keep doing what's working for yourself.
So we got the very peak done and the next lift down, so more or less the whole peak sort of scratched, drying like crazy on us. We forgot our hose today, so we're just cupping water onto it and splashing it. So yeah, it's drying very quickly that way. So if it is doing that there, guys, just suggest water's your friend. So on all the rest of the lifts now that we've figured out that it's very, very hot. I think if I had been scratching it the day after, it wouldn't have been as bad, or if the rain had hit it or something last night, it wouldn't have been as bad. But I think we're going to have to cup it and then splash it as we're coating as well, or cup sections sort of between bar to bar.
So that wee clip there was to show you guys some of the things that does happen day to day on plastering and rendering, and obviously suction. So trying to control the suction to your advantage. Again, suction's not always a bad thing. It does help make the sand and cement bond to the wall, so that a wee bit of suction is a good thing. The only thing is with this one, it has been drying a wee bit too quick, so we had really started soaking things down, just because the stuff's easier applied and spread, and it keeps it that wee bit neater as well. Things can get a bit patchy and jointy if it's drying too quickly, you know, between the joints, and you don't really want that, as it could possibly hinder you on your top coat. So you want every coat to be as neat as possible. Sort of covered that in the Scud as well. So yeah, controlling the Scud coat to your advantage is a must. What I said there was that we're going to start cupping it down, so that's loads of water, but forgot the hose. So cupping it down is just, you're really saturating the wall. Again, you know, you don't want it to be absolutely ringing, or the stuff, you know, could just sort of turn into just watery sand, you know, because if you absolutely waterlog a wall, guys, it'll take a long time for certain areas to set and stuff as well. So you want to avoid absolutely drenching things as well, but a nice wee spray of water isn't a bad thing. Even on some new block and stuff, it's not really a bad thing. But again, neither's a bit of suction, it's not really a bad thing either. It's just knowing how to control it. Now, if it was drying this quick, now obviously your sketch coat's that bit thinner than your top coat, but if it was drying this quick on your top coat, you would be in big trouble, because it would be a lot harder to finish, and you would struggle to get it smooth and stuff as well. So you don't really, you know, you don't want that on your top coat. Again, the scratch coat should kill the suction that bit more, because we're layering out past the brick, we're coming out further away from what's actually causing it all to dry, and we're planning on actually floating on top of this sooner rather than later as well. Obviously not the same day, we're going to let it go hard, maybe a day or two, and again we will bring the hose and make sure we'll have it wet down just to our liking. Again, the peak's a nice place to test it out and make sure, you know, it's not too dry. And one of the other things I wanted to cover here is cracks, guys, and one of the ways you can deal with that is the fiberglass mesh. You can use expanded metal as well, and you know, make sure it's galvanized, you know, and you don't want to be using just any type of expanded metal. Make sure it's galvanized, it is for rendering, otherwise it can rust through. And we've done this to every head on this whole job just to be safe.
Okay, so that's us for the day. The whole thing's all scratched, top to bottom, and it is pretty big gable. So it is. Still more or less all the prep's done, but still sort of some awkward things to do. The front wall is very awkward, a lot of windows, and a wee roof. I've cleaned it about 40 times today, so yeah, some awkward bits, but yeah, seem to be, the lower we got, the suction seemed to be a bit damper, so obviously the water in the walls is soaking into the bricks and going down to the bottom, which wasn't too bad then. So getting a bit neater and sort of looking a wee bit patchy up the top. I don't think you'll pick it up too well in the camera, and you sort of do get that there jointing, as you're meeting in and dropping up and down or taking your tea or whatever. But yeah, so far so good. Good 3-1 scratch on it, and yeah, happy enough. That's everything further forward than was yesterday anyway, so we're getting there.
And don't forget guys, the third video coming up next is going to be how I finish the render nice and smooth, and there's going to be plenty of tips on that, so make sure and subscribe if you're not, and that one will be live next week.
Everybody subscribe, please.